Imagine climbing a ladder, and every time you reach for the next rung, it's gone. That's not a metaphor. That's what's actually happening to the first few years of people's careers right now. And almost nobody is explaining it correctly. You've probably heard the panic headlines. AI is coming for your job. Big companies announcing layoffs and pointing at artificial intelligence like it's the reason. And maybe you've rolled your eyes a little, because companies have always found convenient excuses for cutting costs. Here's the thing though. The real story isn't that AI is deleting jobs across the board. The real story is quieter and honestly more unsettling. AI isn't removing the ladder. It's sawing off the bottom rungs. Let's talk about what that actually means for you. For decades, the deal was simple. You graduate. You take an entry-level job. The one that doesn't need much experience, just a willingness to learn. You spend a year or two doing the repetitive stuff, filing reports, summarizing data, drafting the first version of things. It wasn't glamorous, but it was the training ground. It's how you built the judgment to eventually do the harder work. That training ground is what's disappearing. Here's why. AI is remarkably good at exactly the tasks that used to make up entry-level work, the routine, repeatable, well-defined stuff. Drafting a first version of a report, sorting through data, answering common questions. That's precisely the type of work companies use to hand to new hires to get them started. So when AI absorbs that layer of work, something strange happens. The job doesn't just shrink, the requirements shift upward. Now, the entry-level opening isn't really entry-level anymore. It expects you to already have the judgment and skills that used to take a year or two on the job to develop. Employers aren't necessarily hiring fewer people because they hate young workers. They're hiring for a different shape of job, one where the easy, forgiving on-ramp used to be. And that on-ramp just isn't there anymore. Think of it like a video game where the tutorial level got deleted. You're not thrown out of the game. You're just dropped straight into level 3, expected to already know how to play. This isn't a hypothetical. We're seeing it play out in real companies right now. Microsoft, for example, has already gone through waves of job cuts this year, and the pattern in who's affected is telling. A lot of the impact has landed on the exact kind of clerical, administrative, and entry to mid-level roles that used to be the industry's on-ramp. It's not just less hiring. It's a reshaping of what hiring even looks like. And here's the part that should really get your attention. Some of the same tech leaders who spent last year warning that AI could wipe out huge portions of white-collar work have actually walked those predictions back. Not because AI turned out to be weaker than expected, because the effect isn't a blanket wipeout. It's targeted. It's hitting specific tasks, specific skill levels, specific stages of a career. And the first rung of a ladder is one of the places it's hitting hardest. So if you're a student, a recent grad, or someone early in your career reading this and feeling nervous, that feeling is valid. But panic isn't useful. Understanding the actual mechanism is. Because here's the thing about a raised ladder. You don't beat it by refusing to climb. You beat it by figuring out where the new lowest rung actually is and building toward it early. That means a few things in practice. First, the tasks that AI eats are the routine, repeatable ones. So the value humans provide now shifts toward judgment context and the ability to actually direct AI tools rather than compete with them. Second, some employers are responding by redesigning entry-level roles entirely rather than cutting them completely, meaning the jobs aren't gone, they're changing shape, and the people who adapt fastest to that new shape are the ones who get through the door. And third, and this is the one people miss, a raised bar for entry-level work also means less separation between beginner and professional skills. The gap you need to close before your first job is bigger, but it's also more learnable than ever, because the tools to build real skills fast have never been more accessible. The old path was get hired, then learn on the job. The new path for a growing number of people is learn enough on your own that you can walk in already operating at what used to be the second-year level. That's not fair, necessarily, but it's real. And the people who recognize it early, instead of waiting for someone to hand them a soft landing that no longer exists, are the ones who end up finding their footing on this new, higher rung. The ladder didn't disappear. It just moved. And now you know where to start climbing.